In the middle of the Caribbean Sea, a family is vacationing on their yacht. The mother, Julia, jumps into the water to swim. While relaxing, she feels something strange. But since she can't see anything around her, she thinks maybe it's just her imagination. A few seconds later, she feels the same strange sensation again. This time also she doesn't see anything. But now she panics and starts swimming back toward the yacht. Suddenly, something begins pulling her leg and she starts screaming loudly for help. Her daughter Cassie is listening to music with her headphones on, so she can't hear anything. Her husband Tom and son Ben are busy fishing. Julia tries to keep herself afloat, but water keeps getting into her mouth, making it hard to shout. After a while, Tom realizes he hasn't seen Julia for quite some time. He looks for her on the yacht and then spots her in danger. He calls the kids, steers the yacht toward her, and jumps into the water. He quickly reaches Julia, supports her, and swims back toward the yacht. The kids pull them both up. The family gathers around Julia, but she convinces herself that maybe it was just because of the waves. At night, they all celebrate Ben's birthday. Cassie gets a call from her boyfriend, so she takes her laptop outside. On the video call, her boyfriend shows her that huge dark clouds have covered the city. The call glitches and freezes. Cassie goes to tell the family, but Tom says the signal may be weak because they're far from land. Suddenly, they all hear a noise. They go outside and see a group of whales passing by. Tom explains that whales always follow the Earth's magnetic field, but during storms they get confused. Suddenly, the yacht shakes violently and Ben falls down. Tom worries the yacht might have been damaged, so he dives underwater to check. He returns after some time, but there's a large wound on his shoulder. Julia stitches it immediately. Tom says that underwater he felt like there was some huge creature behind him, but when he turned, he got cut by the propeller. He says whatever it was very big. Tom realizes the yacht has suffered serious damage, so they need to call for help. Julia keeps trying the radio. Cassie tries to find a phone signal but nothing works. Suddenly, Cassie sees a strange creature and screams. But it's just Ben wearing a mask to scare her. After some time, the yacht completely loses power and gets stranded in the middle of the sea. Julia hears a voice on the radio, but it's so unclear she can't understand anything. Tom tells the family they only have 4 days of food and water left, and now they must wait for a fishing boat. Suddenly, something appears on the radar and the family hears a strange sound. They run outside and are shocked to see several meteors falling to the ground. Wherever they land, huge explosions occur. One meteor falls into the water near them, so Tom quickly tries to start the yacht. The engine barely starts, but then another meteor hits the area. The terrified family holds onto each other tightly. Suddenly Tom realizes the fireballs aren't meteors, they're satellites. At the same moment, Ben sees smoke coming from the yacht. Tom checks and confirms the engine is destroyed. The wind starts getting stronger, so the family hides inside the yacht, not noticing that the compass is spinning wildly. The yacht begins shaking violently. Ben falls again, and this time he gets hurt. Waves crash rapidly against the yacht. Tom struggles outside to bring life jackets. Suddenly, the power goes out. Tom presses the power box button and the lights return. At that moment, Ben notices that Julia's nose is bleeding. Julia starts feeling dizzy, and Cassie runs to the sink to vomit. Tom continues trying the radio but gets no signal. Suddenly, a loud high-pitched noise occurs and the wind becomes even stronger. Julia tries to shut the doors, but one hatch opens and the wind begins breaking the windows. Tom lights a flare, and shortly after, darkness covers everything. The next morning, the family wakes up shocked that they survived the storm, but the yacht is half destroyed. When they go outside, they see that the ocean water has disappeared and the yacht is now stuck on dry land. Everyone is stunned. Cassie checks the signal, but the network is completely down. Ben starts playing with 2 dead crabs. Tom checks the compass and sees it has flipped upside down, a thing that last happened 700,000 years ago. Cassie thinks her boyfriend must be dead and breaks down. When Julia tries to comfort her, Cassie pushes her away and goes to hide. Julia and Tom check the remaining supplies. Ben ties his birthday balloons to a rock hoping that some survivors might notice them. Tom tries the radio again and this time gets a connection. A man named Now answers. He's the captain of a submarine. His submarine is also stuck on land. He confirms that the magnetic poles have reversed, causing the ocean to recede and land to submerge. He says he hasn't seen any other survivors and the communication systems are totally down. He also says the poles will reverse again and maybe the ocean will return in about a week. He warns the family to climb to the highest place possible because when the water returns, it will be extremely dangerous. He says his partner died in the crash, and the submarine has room for only 3 people. Julia and Tom beg him to save their children. He gives them his coordinates. Tom calculates that it will take 2 to 3 days to reach the submarine. He tells the family to rest well that night because they will leave in the morning. The next morning, the family is packing. Suddenly, Tom sees something moving nearby. It's a limping man holding a harpoon, accompanied by a dog barking continuously. Tom approaches him and hands him a bottle of water. But the man speaks in a strange language Tom doesn't understand. After drinking the water, the stranger suddenly hits Tom's head with the bottle and kicks him hard in the face. Julia runs in fear, but it's too late. The man has already thrust the harpoon into Tom's stomach. Tom struggles for a moment, then the man slits his throat. The man then chases Julia and throws the harpoon, injuring her shoulder. Enduring the pain, Julia rushes into the yacht and tells the kids to hide. She locks the door. Cassie and Ben crawl inside the sofa. Julia gives them a flare gun and hides in the bathroom with a knife. The man bangs on the door violently and eventually breaks in. He grabs some food first and then searches the yacht. He then heads toward the bathroom, but Julia smartly escapes through a small opening. The man assumes she fled outside. But as Julia quietly sneaks away, his dog spots her and barks. The dog lunges at her, and she kills it with the knife. Hearing the dog scream, the man rushes out and becomes furious seeing his dead dog. Meanwhile, Julia climbs the other side of the yacht to get back inside through a broken window. But the man arrives first, grabs her, and punches her hard, making her fall. Julia tries to hold on to furniture, but he kicks her away. He then steps on her wrist to make her drop the knife, grabs her hair, smashes her face on the floor, throws her on the sofa, and begins strangling her. The kids witness everything. Cassie comes out and fires the flare gun, hitting the man directly. He catches fire and flames spread through the yacht. The kids run out immediately. Julia returns, kicks the man away, grabs the map and bag, and escapes. Ben and Cassie run to their father's body and cry. Julia sits with them and the 3 of them say a tearful final goodbye to Tom. Suddenly, the burned man emerges from the yacht again, so the family runs. Moments later, the yacht explodes. After walking some distance, they stop near a small waterfall to rest. Cassie thinks the crazy man might have come because of the balloons. Hearing this, Ben blames himself, but Julia comforts him, saying it wasn't his fault. She urges everyone to move on because that man is likely still following them. Along the way, near a small pond, Ben is shocked to see a dead hammerhead shark. Julia then notices that the man is approaching again. They start running and tumble down a sand dune, where they find toxic waste. They carefully cross it and feel they may finally have escaped him. As they continue walking, they see huge dead sea animals and all the plastic that had been under the ocean. Ben starts slowing down, and Julia realizes he is becoming dehydrated. She tells them to stop. When she picks up the water bottle, she is shocked to find it almost empty. Cassie realizes she may not have closed it properly. Julia yells that her carelessness has cost them their water. Cassie snaps back, saying, "What difference does it make? We're not going to survive anyway." They argue for a long time, but the family keeps moving. After some time, they find a crashed plane. Seeing something moving inside, they get scared, but it's just birds. They decide to spend the night inside the plane. They share a small snack. Julia finds a family photo inside Tom's jacket and breaks down. Cassie asks, "Mom, what was your and Dad's love story?" Julia smiles and tells her, Tom was her patient in the hospital. One day, he expressed his love by giving her flowers and a sweet poem. In the middle of the night, Cassie steps outside the plane. Suddenly, the crazy man tries to grab her from behind, but Julia attacks him from behind and repeatedly stabs him until he dies. Cassie hugs her mother and calms her down. The next morning, the man's body is covered in insects. The family notices many bite marks on his body, meaning some dangerous creature is hiding in the area. As they leave, crabs crawl out of his mouth. After a few hours, Julia and Cassie examine the map. But Ben wanders ahead quietly. Julia shouts for him to stop. Ben bends down near a pond and starts drinking the water. Julia immediately pulls him away and warns him that unknown water can make him sick. The sun becomes extremely harsh, so the family covers their heads with cloth. Ben feels dizzy. They find old chairs, and Julia and Cassie make a temporary shelter. Julia gives Ben an injection and decides they will stay there for the night. In the morning, Julia wakes up to a strange sound. When she goes outside, she sees a huge swarm of crabs approaching. She immediately wakes the kids and they start running. While running, they spot a large cargo ship. 3 crew members are alive. One woman wants to help them, but the other 2 men refuse. They lock the family outside the container. The crabs reach them. Julia lifts the children onto the container. As she climbs, the crabs bite her leg hard. The kids pull her up before she falls. Through a hole in the container, half the crabs enter inside. The crew members start shooting, but the crabs overpower and kill them. The last man reaches the roof hatch, but the crabs pull him down and kill him too. Julia bandages her wound and passes out. When she wakes up, she finds herself alone in a sandstorm. Panicking, she searches for her kids. She picks up a weapon from a dead woman and screams loudly. Cassie hears her voice and returns, saying she and Ben went to look for help but found no one. They find Ben, who discovered an open container where they can stay until the storm passes. Julia takes out Tom's lighter and cauterizes her wound by burning it shut. It's extremely painful. After the storm ends, they find another container filled with water bottles. While checking the bodies, they also find a radio and a gun. Julia contacts Now and tells him they lost the map. He says they were attacked by arthropods, creatures that have gone insane due to oxygen exposure. Now tells them to hurry because his instruments show the ocean will return much sooner than expected, and they only have a few hours left. He fires a flare and the family follows that direction. After a long walk, they find a broken toilet where Ben urinates. They finally see the submarine nearby, but to reach it they must cross a rocky path. As they cross, the walls start shaking and rocks fall, causing a terrifying rock slide. Julia quickly pushes her kids aside and steps back to avoid getting crushed. A wall of rocks now separates them. Julia tells the kids to go on without her. Cassie refuses and insists Julia must try to climb. After arguing, Julia promises she will find them later. Forced, Cassie pulls her brother away. The kids climb the rocky path and run toward the submarine. When they reach it, they find Now lying outside covered in blood. He says it's over for him and now the kids can take the submarine, leaving an extra space free. Thinking now there will be room for Julia, Cassie runs back to find her mother. Meanwhile, Julia sees the crabs coming and starts firing at them. She kills some, but the swarm is huge and impossible to fight. At that moment, Cassie appears on top of the rock wall and extends her hand. Despite her injured leg, Julia climbs quickly. With Cassie's help, she reaches the other side and they run toward the submarine together. Ben is already up there and opens fire to distract the crabs so his family can climb up. As soon as the crabs reach the submarine's body, they begin eating it. Julia grabs the gun and keeps firing until the kids are safely inside. When they're safe, Julia realizes the bullets are finished. She throws the gun at the crabs and climbs inside with her children. They lock the hatch tightly and watch the crabs surrounding the submarine through the window. At that moment, the ocean returns. The 3 of them sit, buckle their belts, and hold each other's hands. Massive waves toss the submarine violently. Julia begins seeing visions of their entire journey, and Cassie vomits. Soon the high-pitched sound returns and the family faints. After some time, Julia and the kids regain consciousness and are happy to be alive. They unlock the hatch and step outside to see that the waves have thrown the submarine into a destroyed city. This means there is hope for survival and a new beginning. And this is where the film ends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you keep getting such interesting videos. Thanks for watching.